Welcome to the Obvious Podcast. This is episode number 72. I'm Sonny Macon.
And I'm Peter Dyga, President and CEO at ABC, Florida East Coast Chapter.
You are listening to the Obvious Podcast or watching it, where all opinions expressed are our own unless we say otherwise.
Love the show? Subscribe on any major podcast platform or watch us in action on YouTube. Follow the Obvious Podcast on Instagram, X, and Truth Social, and now on TikTok. All the links you need are in the show notes. Reach out to us anytime at theobvious@abceastflorida.com. And if you're enjoying the ride, help others find us by leaving a review wherever you listen. Happy Friday, Sonny.
Happy Friday. Man, this year has been off. I can't believe it's already January, whatever the date is today. Like it's
right. We're through. Yeah.
Today's January 16th. It's insane how fast time is
halfway through the first month already.
Yeah.
I always say that every January.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, because, at the beginning of the year, you're looking at it, I think, more in piecemeal, month by month. And you're like, we're halfway through 1 month already? Right. I mean.
Well, there's that weird week between Christmas and New Year's where you don't know what day it is or.
Right.
What's going on, and then all of a sudden you're back in the office, and then boom, it's like the 16th of January.
Several of us at the ABC Florida East Coast chapter staff, kicked off the new year right away with
we did
going out to a conference, right?
Yes, as you know, Peter, because of you, there's a long history of leadership development, employee development that we support. Just so much of this sort of learning that our staff gets to do. And part of that is participating in this really interesting conference, or not conference, it's really a school certification program called the Institute of Organizational Management, IOM. And it is put on by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. And they have picked 4 cities around the country. Mostly they are all kind of secondary college towns, and they're like a pain in the butt to get to. Yeah. And they do this. They do the classes on these college campuses, and they bring in these thought leaders, and you learn how to run.
It's a 4-year program.
It's a 4-year program.
So you go for a week over the course of 4 years.
4 years.
So, and it's a pretty old program too. I don't know exactly when they started it, but
it's been around a while. So I found out this past week in the program in Tucson, Arizona, mm-hmm. has been meeting at the University of Arizona for like 103 weeks. So, would that be 103 years? Holy cow!
Wow, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, somebody had asked, I think we had referenced this to some of our leadership, and they were like, is this just for nonprofit? And in essence, it is, right? It's for chambers,
nonprofits, trade associations. So, it's to learn how to, manage them effectively, grow. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to ask you, we have
because we have deal with volunteer leaders and
absolutely
strategic planning and nonprofit laws.
The difference between management and governance.
Financials are different. Yeah. And anyway, it's
exactly.
We make it available to anybody who has any kind of an interest here. There's certainly 67 ABC chapters around the country, all of which have a president and CEO and management, but there's thousands upon thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of nonprofits and chambers and whatnot. If anybody ever wanted to get into this business, we want to encourage that.
Yep. So we had a very distinguished group from our office go. Mr. Producer went for his first year. Our head of IT went.
His first year too. He asked to go.
Our development director for the foundation, he went as well. I think it was his third year.
Mm-hmm.
I was there. And it's such an interesting, group of people. Obviously, there are people from all over the country. And you just realize, I just realized, and I think our team just realized, there were a lot of questions in classes like, does your organization do this? And does your organization do that?
Sure.
And talking about best practices.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, right? Mm-hmm. With your classmates and developing a relationship with them and learning from one another. So,
exactly. Yeah. And so we... obviously we have a rich history of developing our staff here and supporting that development, right? Like it's not just.
I want to say a word about that.
Go for it.
One of the things we do. It's on that list that you'll go through one of those 4 years, I'm guessing, where they'll talk about the best practices. The best nonprofits will do a assessment of their board. So, and in fact, we do that. So sometimes, usually during summer, we ask our board to do a self-assessment, and we ask them about a whole range of different things. And one of the ones, by the way, we score, I forget, there's a name, I think, for the scale, 1 to 5. I forget what the name is, but we use that scale, and almost everything scores 4 or higher. Which is great, which means our board is very comfortable in a lot of these governance areas. But the one that scores the lowest, closer to 4 rather than 5, or one of the ones that consistently does, is the board's level of comfort or understanding about how much we support as a chapter of professional development.
Yep.
And it's always been frustrating to me because they approve the budget every year. I mean, we spend a fair amount of money as an organization, and it's not just things like IOM. It can be online classes. It can be as you can imagine, that's it. Webinars. It could be a whole host of professional development conferences, many of which are ABC. You learn a lot from going to them. So in any event, we do have a, and it predates me. I mean, I'm a graduate of IOM, and my predecessor and mentor, Dan Shaw, encouraged me to go. I think I graduated in 2005, so it's been 20 years or so. But it was instrumental for me.
And you also went to Tucson campus.
I did.
So did most of our staff. And
I think we all pick it because it just fits best for our schedule. You get too much into the year, and
But in case you're wondering why this episode is called Raising Arizona, because we all spent a week in the desert, but what a strange city that is, right? Like, I love the fact that the airport is so small, but it is just such a combination of dumpy and beautiful. Like, it just, you're driving around, you're like, what is this place? And then you look at the mountains and the sky, sort of clouds touching the top of the mountains. Beautiful.
I remember when I went, there was a resort town, a ski town, very close. I think I drove up there. There's no snow at then, although there could be, right? Early January.
I think it snowed.
But isn't that crazy? You're in Phoenix and you're in Tucson, Arizona, and like within driving distance, there's a ski town or a ski resort.
Yeah.
I think it's known for the airplane or whatever graveyard. And
yes,
there was
that I did see.
Another relic of the past is missile silos. Yep. I think there's some missile silos there that I toured. Some iconic churches in the desert, the white Pueblo, more Mexicano architecture.
Great Mexican food, by the way. Like,
good Mexican food.
You realize how terrible the Mexican food in Florida is when you eat in Arizona. That's for sure.
Yeah, you don't come to Florida for Mexican food. That's for sure.
Cuban is good here,
right? Other Latino foods, great. So, but any event, it is an interesting place, and as you mentioned, all 4 of the locations are usually these second tier,
except for Philadelphia. There's one in Madison, Wisconsin, Athens, Georgia.
But they're all tied to a school.
They're all tied to a school. So,
and the one in Tucson is great. You're in kind of the thick of the campus.
Yeah, absolutely, right in the middle of it. Yep. And it's a very interesting, unique sort of idea and how to sort of perpetuate and populate best practices in this industry. And it just wasn't us. There were other ABC chapters as well. I know Central Texas had somebody there. Heart of America. That's New York, right? Heart of America?
No, that's Missouri, Kansas.
Missouri, that's right. Keystone, which is Pennsylvania, and then Western Washington, which is Western Washington. So Washington State, not D.C.
There was that many ABC folks there. Yeah,
there's
you guys even snapped a picture.
Yeah,
different ABC chapters,
put it up
different people. Yeah. So that's phenomenal. That's pretty cool. That's just one of the 4. So
yeah, it's one of the 4.
That's great that ABC is chapters around the country are doing that, and that you all have that. Group within a group, so to speak.
And then you meet these people that are like running these associations. Like I met this lady from Washington, D.C., and it was like the Gravel Association, and she's like, I'm in the rocks business.
Yeah. There literally is an association for everything.
For everything. There was one for chain drugstores was one I was sitting next to like 2 of their people. Gravel and packaged goods, consumer packaged goods.
Unreal,
right?
But the challenges are very similar.
Are very similar. Yeah. Absolutely.
So tell us a little more about you were in your second year, about at least the first 2 years of the curriculum, what you noticed from year 1 to 2, and what you noticed about your fellow students.
So I was flabbergasted the first time I went, and then this year as well. I was very surprised by how small most of these chambers are. Like there's a class on a certain topic, and there's all of these things that are kind of discussed, and the person next to me will say, well, I can't do all of that. It's just me and one part-time person. Right. I don't have time for this. That was a very common refrain you heard.
Sure.
In terms of how to grow. And there were some large organizations there too, but by far I think we were certainly one of the largest in terms of the number of employees and the size of our P&L and all of that. I know one of our instructors uses our strategic plan to talk about.
You guys came back and told me about that experience, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some of our leadership and members may be interested to know that because of my experience there, I got to develop a relationship with some of the faculty, and some of them over the years have led our strategic planning.
Right.
So I think that's where you got it. They were at our strategic planning, and it's quite a compliment, I think, that. He's a faculty member at IOM, and he uses us as a positive example of an organization that's doing it well, I think.
Absolutely.
So, it's pretty cool.
So that was, I think that affirmation and confirmation that how many of these best practices we do that are baked into our DNA already, and I think it's because of your leadership and your expertise in this arena, and then the fact that you are also an IOM grad, I think it's comforting, right? You're listening to this, you're watching this, and there are people taking furious notes because to them it's new information, but to me it's we've done this for a long time at our organization.
Sure. In many ways, we're maybe giving as much as we're getting.
Yeah,
which is nice.
And that somebody looked at me and said, your organization, you should be mentoring the smaller organizations here. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy to help. And not because we're some rocket scientists, but we've kind of implemented a lot of these best practices and seen the benefits of it. So really enjoyed that. But the one thing that really struck out at me, because I always kind of like to come away with these things and be like, okay, what did I learn? What's going to be sort of transformative in all of this? There was a class on government affairs that I took. It was taught by a gentleman. He was one of those guys, the kind of guys who wears like a bow tie, like a snazzy dresser guy. And he was the bow tie guy.
Okay.
He was the member of a city council somewhere. Okay. One of those Midwestern states that you always confuse, like Ohio, or Michigan, or one of those states. I can't really remember now which state he was in. But he had a very thorough presentation. And, because so many organizations, so many people are in so many different levels of development of their organization. So he has to kind of start at the basics. And one of his very first slides was, why government affairs? And he had this data point from research done by McKinsey, which is a large consulting organization.
When you came back and told me the story, I really love this because, literally, I think over my 26 years, this is an ongoing conversation about what's the primary reason most people join an association. And the common answer, and I think, probably for the most part correct, which is networking. People want to join to develop their network and do more business. But this particular experience in class drove home this point about government affairs, which again is sometimes poo-pooed. Obviously, we don't feel that way. We have a significant commitment to it as an association and as a chapter. But anyway, sorry.
But I think for our members, right? And this is, and I'm going to read to you exactly what he had on his slide. Slide was called "Importance of Government Affairs." I took a picture of it, and usually I'm never taking pictures of these things. Can be very valuable for an organization's mission. And this is a McKinsey study. Business value related to government. 30% of earnings for all businesses, over 50% of earnings for banking and financial sector. That
you and I think had a conversation when you came back that I wouldn't be surprised if it's that high or higher for construction.
For construction, because we're heavily regulated industry.
But at a minimum 30.
At a minimum,
and probably something north of that. But what was the point of that? The 30%.
That it's impacted. That's the impact on your earnings. 30%
on their earnings. So, but basically, it's showing for a trade association or an association why you invest in government affairs because it's impacting 30% plus
of our members
of your members' earnings. So, which is they're not going to know that
exactly,
right? They're per se,
unless they're paying attention to what McKinsey's putting out.
Right.
I thought that was a very interesting because it's a huge what's the word I'm looking for? It's a huge element of what we do at ABC, right? Like we have
value for sure.
our value proposition. I think I can announce we have just hired an assistant government affairs director. I'll wait to announce his name later, but we're about to go. Tallahassee is about to come up. Our LegCon, we did an episode on that, talking about why that was important. We invest a lot of money and a lot of resources and a lot of manpower and a lot of time in government affairs, and we do it because it's important.
Those that don't know, I mean, not only is it for a number of years, our leadership has budgeted, we've recommended, and they've approved a budget for anywhere from 1.5 to 2 full-time people at the chapter, which again generally is referred to as government affairs person. So somebody who does government affairs work is somebody who maybe works for a single employer like us and their interests. Yeah. But on top of that, we also budget and invest in a number of outside contract lobbyists. Yeah. So that's somebody who's outside your firm that you go out and you pay them, they have multiple clients, so you're one of many, but you pay them and then generally they kind of specialize in certain fields. So, we have one that we've had for a number of years at the state level that has helped us on education issues. A number of years back, we hired one at the federal level as well. Yep. Different areas where we needed help, we needed work, and they've been very instrumental. And again, I was so proud. We had the first committee meeting of the new year at the ABC was our government affairs committee, and it was spectacularly attended. And we had all of our government affairs and lobbying personnel give updates, and it just really drove home and showed the level of commitment of this chapter to government affairs, and to impacting both at the federal, state, and local level.
Yeah,
good, solid governance or.
But there's a direct correlation between everything we invest and the impact and the benefit our members get.
Absolutely,
there's a clear linear relationship.
What was the reaction in the class? Were people surprised?
Yeah, I think people were surprised.
Probably coming more from it's all about business development and networking, and so.
Right. So there's a lot. That's the preconceived notion, right? That this is members join so that they can expand their network and do business with one another. Yeah. Which obviously is important. It's a critical piece,
and it is probably what drives most people, right?
Yeah.
We talk a lot around here. Any government affairs person we've ever hired, I think I've had that conversation. We've had that conversation of a big part of your job. It's not just the government affairs work, but it's I call it the internal grassroots, because generally members, there might be a few, but generally members don't come with sign me up for the government affairs.
Exactly.
They come to learn and appreciate, I think, a little bit more the impact that government at all levels is having on them, and then we develop them to someone who wants to get engaged and involved and help us, if you will, develop that agenda.
So you just mentioned our government affairs legislative committee meeting. As you remember, there were some new faces there that hadn't been there before, and it was interesting to me that the new faces were essentially told by other members who've been involved in government affairs, hey, this is super important. This is super cool. You'll have a good time. Go join this committee, right? So the word of mouth of people who've actually experienced the impact of a robust government affairs department, of a robust impact of that, are now telling their people in their organizations, the younger people, to come and get involved. And I think you can't think of a better testimony than that.
Agreed. Right? That's awesome. So
asking them to come and get involved because they realize how important this is. So
it also, interestingly, I think, has come in many ways to be known as a great leadership development or place to be recognized and seen and show. So, and anyway, I don't know just how that happened, but it has, I think.
I think it has, because we do a phenomenal job in terms of investing in it, bringing on the right people. We have a great team at state, between Carol and Gray Robinson. We have tremendous influence in Tallahassee. We obviously have great influence now.
So now a good time maybe for one last pitch. Come out next week. We'll still try to accommodate you.
Yes.
We're going to be in Tallahassee. Come out and meet part of this government affairs and lobbying team. And as we
meet the new guy.
Yeah, meet the new guy. And so we like to say, become a lobbyist for a day. The things that the state does or laws at the state level impact you significantly to the point of the McKinsey study and the class that you were in out at IOM.
It butters your bread, as TC would say.
That's great. Yeah. So what else from IOM? What was your, I think most of the other employees that came back were really enthused, looking forward to it.
Mr. Producer was very happy. He was learning a lot. I think at meal times he was sharing a lot of stuff with me. And
Great.
Our director of IT was very, very impressed. But he had the same takeaway as me, that it felt comforting to know just that so many of what they're teaching us we already do, and it's part of our DNA and part of our sort of institutional history here.
So anyway, thanks to our board.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
approving that budget every year and having a high level of commitment. Next time we do that board assessment, hopefully if you've listened to this, we hope all of our board members have, you have a better understanding of our level of commitment to, and that's just one small conference.
I mean, we do so much. And you remember that meme that made the round a few years ago? They were like, what if I invest in my employee and he leaves?
Yeah.
Right. And then the response
What's worse? We say that a lot. What's worse than
what if you don't invest?
We get that a lot. Like the Institute gets that a lot. Because we do charge a contractor fee for our apprentices, and it's not required in Florida statute, and a lot of our competitors don't. And sometimes some of the pushback you get from employers, specialty and trade contractors, is, what if I invest all this money and my employee leaves? And
what if you don't?
Is, right. What's worse than that? It's like not investing
and they stay. Yep. And so, I love the fact that our organizational DNA.
We've hit on workforce development and government affairs and professional development.
This has been a great episode.
So anyway, welcome back from IOM.
Thank you.
To you and the other 3 staff members that went and got a lot out of it. And it's great having people with this new knowledge and maybe even a different level of appreciation about the organization and the things we're achieving here.
Absolutely.
So thanks for being part of it, our listeners.
Yes.
So
thank you for listening.
If you're not a member, we want you to join too.
Yes.
So email us. We'll hook you up.
Yep. The obvious at abceastflorida.com.
Thanks for listening. We're honored to have you, and that you've honored us with your time. We look forward to sharing another episode with you next Friday.
See ya.
Ciao.